Hi all, hope everyone's doing well and looking forward to getting back into some form of football training. Obviously we don't have a date yet as to when we can begin playing, but at least we have been given the approval by all authorities that we have to have approval from, to start training again. Now my job here is to make sure that you blokes are safe and that everyone within the club, both individually and collectively, are abiding by the rules that we've got to abide by, so that we are able to keep continuing to train and we don't run into any trouble in any way, shape or form. So obviously we're allowed to have 10 participants plus minimal coaches, so we might have a coach and an assistant coach per 10 players. Okay, and on any given night, those 10 players must remain as one group. The groups cannot mix. Okay, so most likely scenario is that you guys will rotate around different stations in a night. Okay, no physical contact is allowed to occur. So no tackling, no bumping or marking contests, and to the best of our ability, we're to maintain 1.5 metres social distancing at all times. So we need to be very wary of that. There won't be any access to the club rooms, change rooms or showers. The toilets we'll be using will be the public toilets available at both the ovals. And as far as equipment is concerned, only one coach or official per team at any given time. So only one person at a time is allowed inside our change rooms and storerooms to get the gear and bring it out to the venue where training is taking place. Okay, obviously the footies that you use, we have to obviously clean them at the end of each session, but you'll take them with you from group to group to minimise the necessity, hopefully, to clean in between rotations. That will occur if we have to, as we will have all the sanitation products available to us to do that in a practical manner. There won't be any bump bags. We're allowed cones, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so obviously I'm our COVID-19 safety officer, and hence why I'm delivering you this video tonight. Okay, every night that we train, each coach or coaching group is going to have a clipboard with a session sheet. So we must obviously maintain an attendance roll, okay, for each team, and also there'll be an attendance roll for officials that are officiating. So if you turn up late to a session, it doesn't matter how late, just make sure that the coaches know. Obviously they're going to know you're going to be there, but we need to account for everyone that's at training. So what's it going to look like? What's training going to look like? It's going to be obviously a staggered schedule. On any given night, our clubs have both grounds at the same time. So for example, Mondays and Wednesdays, Dusties will have Western Park 1 and 2, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, the Warrigal Football Netball Club will have grounds 1 and 2. So we're most likely going to be going with the plan B and the options to use both grounds. We won't be using the whole one ground at any given time unless we're told we have to. But at this stage, the under-16s will have their normal training time from 5 until 6:15 p.m. And they will train at the same ground as the senior group, which will go from 6:15 onwards. Okay, the other ground will be used by the under-18s from 5 p.m. to 6:15. That may change depending on under-18 numbers on any given night, but the bottom line is we can only have 10 players per half a ground. Okay, which means obviously if everyone was at one ground, we'd have to have things happening outside the ground, but that's something to worry about further down the track. We've got our plan in place, and it's just really, really important that everyone follows instructions and sticks to the plan, because if we're caught doing anything wrong, our training will get shut down really quickly. So we're not mixing in between groups, and we're making sure we use the exits and the entries and exits to the ground that we're told to. We're very lucky. Western Park has 5 gates around it. Okay, so therefore there'll be a clear entry point and an exit point communicated with you as to where you've got to go. So there's no crossovers, and obviously the entry point to Western Park 2 will be the gate that is adjacent to Tarwin Street, and the exit point will be the gate that's over near the sheds on the Waterford Rise side of the ground. So, training templates and objectives of training sessions will be clearly outlined to you by your coaches digitally and via video. Okay, via video link on our pages. So it's really important that for group organisation you notify your coaches, A, if you're going to train, and B, if you're not going to train. Okay, so that they can prepare really, really well, because we cannot address the whole group at once. There will be no whole group addresses unless it's online. Okay, so it's really important that you let your coaches know if you're committed to training on any given night and if you cannot make it, because planning is critical in this. We can't make things up as we go. We've got to make sure we've got everything right, set in stone. We're lucky with our equipment. Every team has their own gear anyway, so cones, balls, and each team will have their own first aid kit, their own the sanitising products, okay, the gel, the wipes, and the spray bottle, okay, so we'll be all good as far as that is concerned. So obviously, once again, let me reinforce that you've got to make sure you communicate with your coaches whether you are or aren't training, and they will communicate in a whole group manner digitally, whether it be via recorded video or whether it be via an online Zoom or Microsoft Teams session. They're things that we'll address along the way. Because once we turn up the training, you go to your pre-notified area by your coach, and you'll begin your session in your group of 10 with a member of the coaching staff there. All right. Now, for under 18s and under 16s, guys, it's recommended that junior players have a maximum of one parent caregiver present. Look, it's recommended. If they can't be there, and I know a lot are there anyway, that's okay. But it's just a recommendation. So no stress if they cannot make it, but if they can, just to be on hand. That would be great, and at the same time they've probably got to be socially distanced from the other parents as well, and not congregating I should say, in groups of more than 10. Guys, we want everyone that's under 16 players, under 18 players and senior players to make sure they download the COVID Safe app. The more people that download the app, the more likelihood we are to have restrictions lifted along the way. Okay. Hygiene protocols. Obviously, we've talked about our staggered training times. We've talked about our staggered entry or different entry and exit points in the ground. Okay, we'll be using our alcohol-based sanitizers in accordance with the regulations that we've got to do. Now, here's the biggie. Every player must have their own drink bottle, no exceptions. Their own drink bottle as well as their own hand towel, or towel of some sort, and obviously they're not to be kept together. Ideally, a little hand towel like we see the NFL players have that you can tuck into your shorts and keep on you is really, really important, because there's no showering at the rooms, and we're not allowed to clear our nose or spit or anything like that. So if that means, well, you shouldn't be at training anyway if you've got cold symptoms, but we all know the first thing that happens when we exercise in cold weather, our nose starts running. So it might mean inside the shirt or leaving the track to blow your nose with an alcohol wipe or something, throwing it in the bin. You wouldn't necessarily have to leave your training area, because every group is going to have those things available to them on site anyway. Okay. I've addressed the fact that we'll be using the outside public toilets. I'll reinforce that. So, and they have been cleaned and disinfected this week and fully stocked up. So it's up to us also to clean those at the beginning and the end. So please respect that facility. Please remember that we are most likely the ones that are cleaning it at the end of the night. So let's make sure that we do everything right from that point of view and respecting the property and what we do. Okay, because we all know how ordinary some public toilets can get. Okay, but they won't get like that on our watch. The next one is strapping. Players, you don't have to come to training prepared and strapped already. Now, if that means we will hopefully make some arrangements with our training staff to arrange a private meeting place, or if you need any other things like massage or any other treatment, you're going to have to, we will have staff that will announce to you that you can utilise, and we're looking to hopefully have them block out periods of time in their evenings when they normally be at the club anyway, for you guys to go and see to have any treatment and any strapping. Okay, so obviously you guys, we're encouraging you to practice good hygiene, to wash your hands often, obviously, and using soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or using your alcohol based hand sanitizer. All right, we want to avoid touching our eyes, nose and mouth as much as possible, purely and simply because that is the way that the virus is, or a lot of viruses, but the coronavirus in particular, is transmitted into our bodies through fluid. Okay, obviously we want to stay away from people who are sick, so let's be very wary of people who we live with and who we work with. Okay, make sure we cover, we cough into our elbows, and we make sure we cover up if we have to sneeze. Okay, and that is pretty much all from that area. So just a reminder, make sure you download the COVID app. Okay, I'll give you a quick rundown. Really key points to remind you once again. Okay, groups of 10, the groups aren't allowed to mix. The groups are allowed to have coaches. We've only got footies and cones, and they will be disinfected at the end of every session, and maybe at the end of every mini session when we're rotating. We want strictly no contact, so no tackling, bumping or marking contests. Social distancing 1.5 metres. No access to change rooms, so we are using the public facilities, so make sure you've got your own drink bottle and your own hand towel. Okay, and that is just about it. Make sure you download the COVID Safe app for the third time, and let's hopefully we can get down to Western Park and we can get together and see each other and run around and start getting some footy stuff in, and with a hope that we'll be playing again soon. Okay, any questions about safety, feel free to call myself in particular, or Mushy, but your coaches will be in direct contact with you in the coming days to discuss with you the likelihood of training going ahead, your thoughts and attendance and all the rest of it. So hopefully we'll see you soon. Catch ya.